association with Ghana Atomic Commission and Ghana Spaceship Institute, would like to invite you to attend the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference, October 17th through 19th, 2016, in Ghana. Keshe Foundation Ghana's mandate is to build awareness and promote research into plasma technology. The foundation is presently working with governmental institutions and other interest groups in Ghana to fulfill this goal. At the conference, you will be afforded the opportunity to learn about and experience plasma technology firsthand. The cost of admission to the conference includes 3-night stay in one of Ghana's prestigious hotels. Hotel packages include a single, double, or twin room option, and an option for an apartment or suite. Breakfast, tea, and coffee breaks and a buffet lunch on the days of the conference are also included. Keshe Foundation Ghana is focused on utilizing plasma technology to solve numerous problems facing the African nation. Come to the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference in Ghana. Learn about plasma technology and learn how you can participate in spreading the word about it. Together, we can bring freedom to Africa and humanity. And we hope to see you there. The Universal Council invites you to attend the One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome on the 9th and 10th of September 2016. The Council looks forward to open interaction with the public at the event. Come interact with the Council in your spoken language. The Council encourages you to bring your positive suggestions and solutions to the table on how humanity can move forward as a whole towards everlasting peace. In this way, the work of the members of the Council will become the work of humanity for humanity. The full package price for a single ticket to the event includes 3-night stay in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Accommodations for this package is based on double occupancy. The full package price for 2 tickets to the event includes 3-night stay in a twin-bed room in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Additional nights stay are offered at €150 per person per night. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending a single day of the event, the cost will be €200, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending both days of the event, the cost will be €400, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome. Come share your positive solutions on how we can work together to bring everlasting peace to our world.
Welcome everyone to the 125th Knowledge Seekers Workshop at the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's Friday, July 29th, 2016. And for this special workshop, we've entitled it New Disclosure. And Mr. Keshe promises to disclose some new information that will be quite revolutionary today, I understand. So I believe he's ready. Let's move right away to Mr. Keshe. Are you there, Mr. Keshe?
Yes. Good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever we listen or we watch these teachings. As you understood yesterday, I had to go into an emergency meeting with some overseas high-level officials for work of the foundation. It could not be delayed because they had a flat schedule. Today, we are going to carry on with what was supposed to be done yesterday because it's important. One of our colleagues has achieved what we explained. They're trying to replicate it for a second time and record it because when it happened, they didn't see it. They have achieved the flashlight and left. And if they can replicate it, they will come back to you. So we are on the way, as we promised, for a complete progress on either way. And we are developing different technologies that can help to achieve these kind of things. One of the most important parts of this technology which is missed, and in a way we have to go back to it, and in a structured way for you to understand, is that in the process of the teaching in the past few weeks and months, we showed how we came from the sun into what we call the transfer of the field into the earth atmosphere condition, and from this, matters of this planet started. And then with the gas technology, we produced gases which in a way we come to the same circles. We have created a condition of sun. We have created condition of the matter state conversion. But in this process, a lot of you missed something very important. And the talk of today is about this. Can you see my writing clearly, or does it need to be corrected? How do you want me to adjust it? No, it's a self-focus system. It's a self-focus system. There's not much I can do with it. You can read it, no problem. Okay, so what we have come to is reality. We missed on a part what we were looking for and what we have achieved. So in this process, we have missed something important, and this is part of it today. If you look, magnetic field, gravitational field, from one strength, they became gravitational magnetic field of the other strength. That's a natural process in the universe. And then us using nanomaterials and matter coming to the gas state and then going back to the field, we have become and be helped the other side of it. This was the natural process of the universe. In this section, we created our own new system. But if you look at the whole condition and return back to the energy that we see now with your pens that you absorb, pain and other things, we have completed the circle. And the purpose of these teachings was this, to say, and this is if you go back and read my papers, the unified field theory completes this theory. We have confirmed the unification of the fields, but is not as one field, but as two. One magnetical and one gravitational. That's why there was a problem in the past decades or centuries that we could not understand. And when you speak about the unified field theory, it means both gravitational and magnetical. We have to call it unified plasma than field. And in this process, we have understood the totality of the structure of the creation of matter. So if you go back into what has been and what has been discussed many times, many years by scientists in unified field theory, now for the first time as in one group, we understand it. And if we apply this and understand it, we can become to major breakthroughs. Separation of the matter state and the plasma. And this has been one of our biggest problems, as I started yesterday and I had to leave. We always considered this. We never considered this. We never considered this state because we are too materialistic. In the matter state of this planet, this was the only concern for us. The other two were something which there we never understood, so we ignored it. So when you come to the principle of unified field theory, now you understand it is unified. All starts from one, ends to other, and then goes back to where it started. Doesn't matter where, at what point you draw the line. You can draw the line here, it still goes through the same process. You start here, it still goes through the same process. So in a very simple way, we have unified the field theory, we understand it. So it's the next step to go forward, to develop technologies, but from now on, be aware at which state of the condition we are talking about. Are we talking at the source? Are we talking at the conversion to a matter state? Are we talking at the conversion in a plasma state? This will change a lot for us in the world of science. This will change everything which we planned or we understood, not to destroy, but literally being able to classify, separate, put together, and understand this. Each one has its own work, but at the end, one does not exist without the other, because it has to come to or go from. One of the biggest problems which you have faced and has been an obstacle in the teachings, and I tried many times, I emphasized on it, but because it was not understood, was how you convert from one to another and how you go from one to another. Many times in teachings, in the books, I set the precondition or at least the explanation of this, and today I complete it. And by the time I complete the teaching today, we have completed a more and a full cycle of understanding of the conversion. If you go back into the book one, go back in understanding of neutron splitting into electron and a proton. If you go back to this understanding from the beginning, you start unraveling. And then the first pages of the book one and what has been taught in past 2 weeks, they come together. In the teaching, we spoke about principle. We spoke about transition. And we spoke about matter state. Go back to putting the two together. This is your proton. Now you have the same with the electron. You have the principle, the transition, and the matter state. If you go back to theoretical physics, they tell you the size and the dimension of each one of these. 1 to 2000. If you understood this, it's very simple. What is the principle in here? It becomes the matter in here. What is principle in here becomes the matter here. In the teachings and the support teaching with the innovation teams, which I work in the background with, I asked them in the past few days to build such a thing, in past 48 hours especially, to build a reactor, 2 reactor poles, where the material of the A is outside the A, and the material of B is inside the B. When you understand this proposition, in trying to reach from what you call the transition boundary out to the matter state of the other, now you understand how in the universal condition you move from one state to the other. This has been the secret of creation, which man has never understood. That's why you have an electron and a proton. That's why you have twin stars. That's why you have 2 parts of the brain, where in the center is the transition of the field. We call it in physical life emotion, where the emotion decides which will move to where and how. If it's more stronger on one side or weaker on the other. And if you understood this, you can convert any energy in the universe to any matter at any state in the universal condition. And when you go from one to another, if you notice, at the point of interaction, both of these points, here and here, and in totality of the field, you get a rapid conversion. In the human body, we call it enlightenment, understanding. In a physical operation of the reactor in motion and lift, you call it the light. If you look at what you call the UFO over Jerusalem, Christmas a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, you see the craft coming down and you see a flash of light and a vertical upright. This is what a competent captain can do, using his emotion to control the physicality, with it show its reaction. This is why I said we complete the science of man today. This is why, if you understand and the world of science understands, you can enter the domain of creation and you decide where this orange zone is going to be. How you communicate emotionally, how you communicate with the others emotionally, how you can elevate the principle or the soul of the man. We need to understand this. We need to add to this, that we can go ahead. We need to go in the steps that we can understand this transition. We can understand how to go from one to another. How a little of the principle can become a major part of the matter of the other. And in this process, what you create is motion. You saw this motion in the presentation of the rotation of the liquid with Dr. Guata. That's what I said. This video we saw will be a corner principle, the first step of man understanding of its own condition, where you have a GANs of two different states interacting with a GANs of another state at the bottom, where the transition and field forces create the rotation. If you understand this, and you can consider how in turbines we convert the rotation to fields in contraction and interaction to electricity, and you understood this principle, you can create balls, as is getting done by a lot of you, to produce megawatts of energy, not even kilowatts. It's you who's got to understand where to tap into. It's you who's got to understand how much energy I need to. Then you'll find out when you make two cores with two different feeling of the same, you will create perpetual motion on both. By distancing them, you dictate the rotation of a speed, the flow of the fields, the strength of emotion, and the rest. This is where we have to complete the knowledge. This is where now you understand we need no generators. We need no nuclear fuel. We don't need anything at all except creation of fields. At the moment you put ganses in these different areas, but in the coming stage, when we further the material understanding of the states, of all the states of matter, you will be dealing with what it is. No physical boundary as you see as a pen, but you'll be dealing only with fields. And that's what it'll be. And if you understand this, how you can deal with fields and convert one to the other, very soon you understand an amazing condition. You can have any entity in any direction in the world of creation. This means we do not need to create, we need to be in charge of the fields in the right order. And it can go from one to another. And one point in the center is that where you can have everything you want in that matter, field, or whatever. Because even at this point, you have both the principle, the transition, and the matter state. This is the point of the creator, where it exists in all dimensions. The rest of the creation in the universe works in these fields. If you can replicate, develop, and produce fields in this manner, you will see everything which we have said and it's been done. Vast amount of energy, any kind of food, any kind of material, any kind of motion. And this is what we come to a conclusion in teachings in so many ways, that you understand how this technology and all the teachings has brought us to the final point. To the point that, as I said in the past few teaching, from now on, you have to learn how you play. Which one do you want to connect to what? In what manner, in what condition would you like it to be affected by the environmental field or by your decision? You decide to create an environment in a given zone that you want to be and manifest itself as you want. This is part of the control. As I said, you wish gold will be in your hand because you use the atmosphere of this planet where it creates gold in respect to the condition of the sun, and your thoughts becomes the transition line. The end product is gold, and the beginning product is the energy of your soul or the sun. This is why I called for the teaching today, as I could not complete yesterday. And always has a reason. Always stands a reason. Always explains itself in a very different way and in a complete way. Some of you saw the motion yesterday of the pendulum, very light motion. Some of you saw the rotation of the liquid. Some of you will see some new things in the coming days as you mix and you decide in what and how you would like the mixture to be. In the setup which I set with Armin and the animation groups, it's very simple. We put a core, we put a second core, and we put a third core. The reason for it was very simple. That this core, for it to operate, needs to be in a floating condition that operates on its own strength. You can change this, but what are you going to find in the space? You can make it from the gas, but where are you going to find the gas in the space? The next step for you and the development of this technology is very simple. You started with physicality, you go to the source by accumulation of all the fields, and in that point, then the amount of energy of the physicality will reverse and will create the entity. Flash of a light. This is why the prophets of the past always they have seen a fire and light. They get enlightened by bringing their physicality into the essence of their soul, and by it they receive the light of the physicality of the universe. And with that second, they absorb most of the information that they can understand to transmit. And now all of you have the same capability. If you understand it, you reach the station of the prophets of the past and what we call the messengers of the universe. If you don't understand it, you battle it to stop it because it shows your own short-minded understanding of the knowledge of the universe. It's you who will understand. If you go from the center out, something very interesting happens. Now the center barrier from here moves to here. And what was the physicality becomes part of this center itself. This is the state of the soul of the man. This is the state of the operation of the stars. This is how galaxies and universes are created. Fields in the condition of environmental control, be it the womb of the mother, be it the universal atmospheric itself, be it the structure of the proton or electron. Once they created the matter state condition barrier, they feed themselves back in, they create the total energy, and they manifest themselves as an entity. As I said in the teaching, a sperm and an egg, they come together and together multiply to a point that they reach to create that hollow sphere in your reactors. You remember, you put the matter and you rotated it, and what you received was a hollow sphere, which is a central plasma. And then that central plasma will start radiating the fields out to dictate this condition. At the point of conversion, you see the light. Because so much energy which is gathered has to be released, and the interaction of the boundary of this with the environment will create the light. And you see there's a flashing light, as we've seen in the dome in Jerusalem. Then the same thing happens in the womb of the mother. This happens with all of you who made the spherical reactors and you saw the hollow center. If you could have added continuously from the material side into the center, the point would have come that the center would have opened up and you would have seen the light. You would have seen the field barrier, you call it the dome, you call it the atmosphere, or whatever you need to be. And this is where our teaching comes to. One of our team has seen the light this morning. After I announced that we're going to have a teaching today, something about a couple of hours ago, I received a message that they have witnessed the light. But what happens? I explained that the plasma fields come together, and in coming together, they merge to become something else, and in that process, the light is released. Is Douglas around, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Keshe, I'm here.
Can you repeat the experiment?
Yes, I was following your instructions regarding putting the two cores together. And I told Brennan that I had some stuff in the garage that I was going to try pure pH, actually, which is a pure, it's organic, but pure alkalinity of 14. And
Pure what? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, it's an alkalinity of 14. It's a natural substance used in raising the alkalinity of water up to 14 even to test and calibrate instruments with. So I had 3 reactor cores, inner cores, Caroline cores that were all made of a heavy substance, a heavy GaNs. When they were put in with the CH3, they all sank, and I couldn't get much of a reaction out of it. So I told Brennan I was going to try something that I knew I could raise the pH up in these really super fast by raising it up with a 14 pH. So I took out half of the CH3 out of the outer core of one of the reactor balls and filled it back up the other half with a pure 14 pH. It's an organic citrus solution, basically, and resealed the core and spun the core on top of the reactor. My wife was sitting here 3 feet behind me, and as I witnessed, number one, these balls float. For the first time, they floated. And I thought, wow, I've done something here. The other 3 are sunk. This one was sunk. Now it's floating. I've changed. I've done something right here because I've made this heavy substance float now. So now I'm going to spin it. This was my next idea. So I started spinning the ball while I was sitting in my chair. My wife was behind me. And as I started spinning the ball, the inner ball that was floating immediately was like drawn to the bottom of the outer core, like some kind of magnetical force. It was really super fast. In the middle of this, directly to the top of the outer core, created a solid line of light that grew to about the size, not quite the width of a pencil, maybe a small painter's paintbrush, or maybe about maybe a 8-10 gauge wire, just a solid stream and a light like a prism. And I was standing up in my chair at the same time, just really coming apart at the seams, guys. I'm really, really excited about it now, and I'm trying to remain calm. And my wife's witnessing this. The ball came completely off of the platform that I had it so I had enough glue on it to hold me onto that thing, I think. It managed to leave the platform and went straight up so fast up against my ceiling and busted into two pieces. And my first reaction was, holy cow, where's the reactor? Where's the reactor? And please don't step on, so we were looking down, and after everything had calmed down, the outer reactor unfortunately had busted into two pieces. These are two-piece acrylic balls that, unfortunately I've had to use toys, and I've had to cut them open with my knife. I didn't have the access to two-part balls, so I'm having to fabricate these things kind of myself anyway. So when it hit the ceiling, it smashed into two pieces. The inner core was fine. It was in another room. We don't know how it got there. It was, like I said, unscathed. And I have since then rebuilt the outer core and am waiting for it to complete drying this time. And my wife said the strange thing about all of this is this was instant for me. When I seen this light and this vortex, it was like a crystal being just starting from the top of this outside of the ball going straight to the inner ball, and it happened so fast, and I just leapt out of my chair, and my wife 3 feet behind me, it scared her because she said that everything was going in slow motion from her point of view, that I was moving like watching a replay on TV, like everything was moving real slow. She said she could actually see the fluid flying out of the ball as it left the platform. Now everything was instantaneous for me. And she said that this seemed to appear to go for like 4 or 5 seconds for her. She was pretty astounded about where the ball went and trying to help me find it. Like I said, it took us 15 minutes to find it. It was in another room. So we can't explain how the ball got in the other room. Under a door. That was something we can't explain. And perhaps if maybe I would have had better control or better adhesion, I don't know. Maybe the ball wouldn't have left the platform. But once it left, it hit the ceiling so fast it wasn't funny. I didn't have time to see it. I mean, I really didn't have time to even blink, and it smashed against the ceiling, and liquid went everywhere. And I wasn't concerned about it. It was
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir, Mr. Keshe.
Did you or your wife see like a spread of light?
Yeah, that's right in the dead center, like a prism, a bright light. Yeah. That's why I jumped up out of the chair.
Yeah, that's what I explained before. But what is important is that when he exploded, did you see any light coming out with the liquid?
Yeah, right as the vortex as it created, as it went straight down to the inner core. As soon as it hit the inner core, that sunk to the bottom immediately. This happened so fast. To me, it did. Now, my wife says this was really slow, but to me, it was just like an utter flash, and it was like a flash of light. And it was a brilliant light because it was the color of a rainbow. It had the spectrums of a rainbow. It had all the different colors. I see a purple, a blue, a red, an orange, all these different colors just instantly before this ball left. I mean, it was gone so fast, Mr. Keshe, and up against my ceiling. That's all I can really say about it. For her, it was in slow motion for whatever.
Could you show us the apparatus that other people can replicate?
I'd be more than glad to. Let's see here, make sure that
I asked Douglas not to go fast because he cannot understand. I said to him, calm down. Thank you very much for being calm. Okay, show us what you did and how you did it and what happened, and then people can replicate it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remain calm, but when you see something that defies the laws of physics, it's kind of hard to remain calm. This is just a simple outer core that I used. These are, like I said, I have ordered two-piece cores, but these are.
Can you share your? Can somebody share this as a main picture, please?
There we go.
You got to share your camera. Okay.
You can see that that's can everybody see it there?
Yeah. That's
All
one core on its own inside another.
Yeah, and I use a little toy, so I have to cut these open with a pocket knife, and you know, and not to mention they've got a flammable liquid in them. So I'm doing the kids a favor by buying these things up and cutting them open. Actual lighter fluid in these things, believe it or not. But it's a little toy inside there, and I have to cut them. I've got 2 part balls ordered to make this a lot easier, so I'm having to reassemble these with different types of glue. And I've learned what doesn't work. And the only thing that really seems to work well is, believe it or not, model airplane glue. Right here, name brand, but model airplane glue. So I've had to reassemble these. And the inner core there, as you can see, is the inner core, and it is what do I have in it?
Yeah.
Okay. There is 1 milliliter of CuO2 gas, and 1 drop of my blood, and the rest of a CuO2 plasmatic water is what the rest of the inner core is. In this.
So you have a drop of copper oxide.
Yes.
And then you have a drop of your blood.
Yes.
And the rest is CO2. Yeah?
Yeah. The water. Yeah, plasma water.
Yeah, or plasma water. Okay. That's in it. What did you put in the outer core?
Okay, and then in the outer core was, you can see that line there. I don't know if it's half or not. It looks half. I left half of it in CH3 with the amino of CH3. And the other half, I use this right here, which is an organic thing you can buy at any hydroponics store. That is
what is it called?
It's called pH Up. It increases the pH of water to a pure 14.
What's it called? pH?
pH Up, UP. Yeah, it's a simple pH Up. Yeah, it's just the name of it.
Okay.
It's a no-name, no brand. It's a generic brand. It's just known as
pH UP, Mr. Keshe, as in up and down, up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I filled the other half. But now these, when I had them the first time in the pure CH3, I had it in all CH3. The ball stayed sunk, so completely sunk. At the bottom, all 4 reactor balls were completely sunk. And I thought, well, this ain't right. Mr. Keshe, I've heard him say too many times that we need to have some kind of, it doesn't need to sink. So I knew that this was wrong. And I knew what Armin had said, what Mr. Keshe had said, man, listen about moving that hydrogen. And I started thinking about how easy this could be done, and so I got to thinking, wow, I've got a pure pH out in the building, up and down. So I can build a base reactor inside with a down and an outside reactor with an up, and test this immediately to see if there's rotation, and this is what was going on in here. So I ran out and grabbed the pH and added the remainder of this in pH Up and filled it up. Just so you can see there on the top, there's nothing fancy, just a piece of hot glue for where the little hole was where I filled it up. And I do this, I knock it on the table like this to get all the air bubbles up to the very top. I draw the air bubbles out with a syringe, with a little tiny needle on there. I draw them air bubbles out. And then I go back in and I force the rest of the air bubbles out. And when you stick that syringe in below the air bubbles and you tap on it at the same time, you can force all the air bubbles out of these balls. Now you have a tiny air bubble left, maybe 1 or 2, but nothing of any circumstance. Just a little tiny bubble. I sealed it back up, and then I thought about, well, I'm going to spin this. Just a thought that came to my head. Now, I haven't spun the other ones, but I was going to spin this one. So I took one of my device here, my little platform that I adhere the balls onto, and I adhered that ball on there to that one. very well. I've not had any of these come apart. All of them are full. Some of them are solid Gants. And not even come apart off of this. I've never had an issue one. I've been doing this for months now with these little motors, and this one, when I turned it on, it's a 2-speed motor, and when I turned it on, I noticed immediately that there was a little bit of a drag to it, so I skipped up to the 2nd speed. And when I did, this ball that was floating went straight down. I mean, like it was drawn by a magnetic force so fast. And in the middle, from the very top right here, started a pinhole, like a wire, no thicker than a hair on your head, straight down from the top of this plastic outer core to this ball, straight down, a connection like an umbilical cord. And then it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It got to the point where it was about the width of this, and that's when this thing, as I seen this, I seen the light in the middle of that ball, and I was jumping. My wife was behind me right there, right here in the seat. And that's where she's sitting in my little kid's seat there, but she had her little laptop sitting there watching me, and I was leaping up at the same time, telling her, "Look at this." And the ball jumped up, went straight up, and I live in a modular home. The ceilings are barely 7 foot, and it just flew straight to the ceiling and smashed and covered me in CH3 and pH up. And it took us 15 minutes to find the core, and as you can see, it went through the outer door and was into the living room area. So that was a little bit strange for us too, is how the inner core ended up out there. I'm letting this dry thoroughly before I start this again. But this time, I promised the whole world, and I do have a witness. She was there, and she wouldn't lie for love or money, and she's against that. But I will record this so we can all see it, because this.
Can you do it now while we are on? Is it right?
Mr. Keshe's glue hasn't had time to set up. There's no way.
Use a hair dryer.
Oh, in the last 3 days, I've tried this so many times. I've even used an automotive strength fiberglass resin with the fiberglass on it, and it will not even hold up if you don't let them dry properly. I don't know if it's the pH being raised up so high in the outer core, and I'm having to use an adhesive instead of a regular ball that's got 2 pieces. I'm having to use an adhesive to glue it, and I'm having to cut them with my pocket knife. So I'm not a surgeon. These cuts are not exactly straight. So I'm having to fill in. If you can see there, I'm having to fill in gaps, and so I'm having to fill in these gaps there with glue. That's the best I can do until my other balls come in that I've ordered. And the glue takes an extremely long time to dry, and they'll fall apart immediately if we try. I would love to, and I can tomorrow, because we'll have a good 24 hours on it for it to set up, and I'll be more than glad to show it. Not an issue at all.
What is interesting is the light and the way you saw the structure of the light.
It was beautiful. It looked like a prism. It was absolutely beautiful.
But what you explained in the writing is that the center just lit up.
Yep.
And then it flew off.
Yep, like a little tiny sun, just like you said. It was, I was, holy cow. I mean, yeah, this happened to me so fast, and my wife said I was moving in slow motion. It scared her. She's seen me change. She's seen me be able to do things that I haven't been able to do for 6 years because of my back. She's accepted a few things, but she said I was moving in slow motion. It kind of scared her a little bit. It shook her up a little bit, seeing me moving in slow motion. To me,
let me explain to you scientifically what you've done. If you go back in the teaching with the team in Philippines, showing the very beginning a few months ago, showing by adding GANs of oxidized materials into the water, you make the water alkaline. And what I set out from the beginning to do was to create an alkaline internally and acidic externally. This is how the body of the man works. The stomach and intestine is acidic, and the lymph is alkaline. The energy transfer from acidic to alkaline, because Arman has a very good say with it. He says pH is the power of hydrogen. In a CH3, you transferred all the energy with adding the alkaline directly into the alkaline side. And the alkaline being in the center, it absorbed all the energy, and it comes to the point that it cannot absorb anymore, so it has to release it in what I explained in the teaching today and before. And that instantaneously creates a dynamic rotation. That's why the ball floats up, rotates, creates its own field, and releases the field. In a star formation, this happens with all your 4 reactors. If you don't have the top reactor to divert the energy back in, you literally fly out of everywhere. But with the top core, you control it, and then you dictate how much can go, where it can go. So what you have seen is the natural process. And if the man understands to do the same thing with himself, he can travel anywhere without need for any flight machine. You can use to increase and add to the alkalineness of the stomach, and with it, transfer the energy of the acidity of the stomach into the alkaline of the physicality, and you can fly anywhere. This many people over thousands of years, but they did not know, or they can control it. You have shown it for the first time. I've seen this many times. When we used to be in Belgium, I used to create it and hold it. You can literally hold a flight. Our neighbors made a complaint to the police that there are strange lights coming from the house at night. So Caroline puts black bags, thick 2-3 inch insulation, another black bag tape that I could operate. I've seen flight many times. Now you have started it. And now we're seeing with Dr. Gota, yes, last time, the rotation of the liquid inside, outside has brought the concentration of the energy. And that's why it goes to the center, because now you put the alkalineness inside. It'll be interesting if you make another core, but opposite the same way.
Oh yeah, I'm already on it.
The way I asked you to do it yesterday.
Yep.
So we've seen, that's why when you did the test last week, and that's it. Thank you very much. See you next time. The change comes as if you go back to the teachings, where they put the nano-coated material at the end of the string, and at a given rotation, the what I call the flyer, the butterfly, twisted 90 degrees, because in that way it released the energy in. Here you have trapped the energy, so now the switch had to come as a lift. You have achieved a total lift for the first time where it can be seen in public. You can create, if you have 4 of these rotating machines, create 3 with the alkaline in the center, sorry, with acidic in the center, CH3, with the alkaline mixture and the alkaline outside, and put 1 exactly what you did with the acidic outside with the alkaline in the center. And by a speed of rotation, you change the acidity to alkaline, or transfer from giving to taking, magnetical to gravitational. And then you decide the flight. You're literally on the verge of a flight. You've seen it the first time. Now you have to repeat this process, not only with the 4 rings, but by controlling the speed of the rotation of the plasma, you can create the craft. In 24 hours, you should be able to show us a structure. As I said, as last week, the minute we see development which brings man to the point of the flight, I come in. Yesterday I could not teach because of the meeting here with our people from overseas. Meanwhile, in that time, it was a gift with you, with me trying to teach the balance, with you achieving this. Now we're going to the next step. Lock in your three platforms on the ground, on the table, glue them, make the same condition, and move that, the one you had, in the center. You should see a center light. This time, the flow of the fields from the three reactors will break it, and instead of shooting up, you will start seeing a gradual lift. Maybe one of your cores will jump off, but if you do it properly, you will be controlled. And you can expand the dimension of this craft to as you like, 100, 200 meters. If, what I'm going to ask you a question, was the door open or closed when you flew?
The door was closed, all the living room door, because the kids got church camp tomorrow, so they've all in bed, and we were getting prepared in here, and I was trying to build these reactors.
So let me explain to you what has happened there. The energy transfer of what you had, the energy transfer of what you had in CH3 and alkaline has created the shield, a magnetic shield, which can pass through anything. The thickness, the wall, the concrete, 20 meters is irrelevant. Till it comes as balance. You don't see any indentation, you don't see anything. It's the fields which carry the matter through. This is the way, as I explained many times, you travel through dense fields in the universe. You can control it, you can create it. So when you say that the object or the center core you found in another room, the only possibility is that you created a shield, what we call a dark matter, as you call it, we call it transition strength, which the matter strength does not exist in it, so it can go through anything. You most probably would have never found it if the conversion of the control wasn't so rapid. Maybe you would have found it on the street 100 meters away, till it becomes the balance of the matter state. That's the one.
That's one of the eager versions.
Yeah. So what it is, because you didn't put any CH3 in the center core, it was totally alkaline. And then the outside had a CH3, which is acidic, it wants to transfer energy. And you brought a balance of alkalineness to it, it transferred this energy. Exactly like the rotation of the material, or if you go back in the test shown by, I think, I can't remember, it was part of the Renan's team a few months ago, they showed the alkalineness of the water by putting the spoon, or what they call it, the pen in the water, and how it changed it. So now with the twist of the fields, you can change the field to a gravitational to magnetical. CH, you call it CH. In the plasma technology, we call it magnetical. In the human body, we call it energy. The Cu alkalineness is gravitational, it pulls. Especially under condition of the earth planet condition with the oxygen, because all the materials you had is a CuO2, CO2, zinc oxide. So it means gravitation, pulling. The oxygen is a pulling condition. If you use lead, iodine, and that kind of thing, make it heavier, the field strength will be much, much stronger. So if you can repeat this, and we come back again tomorrow, we will not stop to complete the teaching till somebody like you or anybody else can go on and show the light, the way you say you've seen it, the lift, total lift, and then with it, we go into the condition of what we call energy production and everything else. If you could create the double magnetic field, gravitational field after two balls, with CH in the other one with alkaline, and the other way with a CH alkaline outside, you will come to understand something very interesting. You will not need any power in the house. You can disconnect your grid, because your appliances will take energy from the center, from the environment of what you have created. And this is what I said because of the way I've been teaching your innovation group how to mix gases for past 2 or 3 days, how to put them in different type of the tube with a CH in the middle. You have literally achieved wireless energy transfer. You can literally feed the whole of the US government, offices, and the whole of US nation with one system. You become like the sun. Everybody can transfer energy to one. These balls you carry, the amount of energy in them can sustain humanity for centuries. When they come to the gas plasma, they never disappear because they create a gravitational, they tap into the universal energy. And so the more you use, the more you take. The more you use, the more they take from the universal energy. So what we have shown today is the change of the course for humanity. And I said, it started with a video from Dr. Gota, and then everything else. And this is what we discussed in the past few days in respect to the energy transfer and the new generators. If you see, it's exactly in line for what we've been trying to do as a team in the Philippines and other places to achieve this. I congratulate you, you achieved, and maybe that's why you are here, to be able to do it, to show it. And it shows a common man can go into deeper space with his own knowledge, does not need to have a PhD and doctorate. And that was, as I said, always to Armin. We bring the knowledge to the man on the planet, not through the offices of planet. And you are an example of it. Armin is another example of it. The whole of the Brennan team, Vernie and all the others, and many people who are testing it. We have brought knowledge to man, not to what I call offices and buildings and degrees and certificates. You achieved more than the whole man has been trying to achieve for thousands of years. But it's to keep concentration, that we go to the next step. We go to develop the technology for a space, for medicine, for agriculture, and the rest. I was teaching yesterday to our friends who were here with us that if you understood with what you created and can suspend it, you can place this on top of any farm, and it'll be the fertilizer, the energy as the water, and the plants will grow without a single drop of fertilizer or rain or anything else. And they'll grow according to themselves, what they want to be and how they want to show themselves and what they feel is to be the environment. So now we got to wait and see what you show us next. And the same with other people. Please try and understand the ratio of the change from acidic to alkaline, or from magnetical to gravitational. You don't need pumps, you don't need heavy things. But at the moment, as I said, we use these rotating facilities. But if you use the right combination of mixture in a 3-ball, not a 2-ball condition, you'll find a rotation without the need for motor. This is what I explained. Can I share my camera, please? Thank you very much, Douglas.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for you to show us the flight or the light. Don't do anything this time without your camera on. Make sure the camera on is before you start rotating. Invite us in. We all come in and join you to watch.
Yes, sir, Mr. Keshe. I've learned by now this is the third time, so third time's the charm. I promise I will not let this happen again without the camera.
Okay, we'll wait till you show us. As soon as it dries, we are in for a few, maybe an hour or so. You want to test it, we go back. If you started, we come in. The whole of Keshe Foundation team will come in, we'll watch it, we record it, and we can always show it. So what you achieved is the alkaline in the center, acidic outside. But you had to bring a rotation and a condition of the transfer, because you have a physical barrier here in this structure, you had to convert the energy of the alkaline or acidic to be able to cross in a rapid way. And as you said, wolves with wolves, birds with birds. So when you added the acidity, some alkaline, what you did, you created a transfer of energy. And without a change. And this is what we explain in CH3 mixtures and oxidized condition. But if you go back to the condition we explained to, you are making the 3 core, which is, this is the second core, and now you're building a 3rd core, which Arman is at it at the moment. So if you get the right mixture here, you will create the rotation of this body. And what you will see, the energy transfer will be very rapid. And then you decide. You will see a hollow center in the middle, and then you will see the flashing light. And the system will create its own shield and its own position. And as you put your own blood in the center, with your emotion, you will see the control. This is so nothing. It was a flash of light because it's your emotion controls instantaneously. But your wife, which is no blood in the center, is not aware of it. She sees the time span. Now you understand why she said it was like a small motion, but for you was a flash of light, because it's your blood in there. It's your control. You wanted to see it right in your emotion inside. You wanted to have it, that it was what it was your decision to see. You're part of it. You're in control of it. You don't see it because you're in it, and the outsiders watch it. Sometimes this, to you, a second is millions of years to the others. The others are the human race, that they count the time of the age of the universe, where the passengers of the universe travel across the universe in seconds. That's why the time does not exist in the universal condition. Now you understand the mystery of the creation, if you have a true soul to see. That's why you see, in so many ways, for you was one flash of light. And I can put you there, structure the same thing, the mankind will watch for hundreds of years and they will see nothing, because to them is a long time, but to you is what you have achieved in time. This is what I said. We see many of the spaceships outside the Earth, but to man, they look like stars, but they've never been stars. A lot of stars you see in the sky are in that position, because time does not exist. If you're an observer of the matter state, you go by the time of the state of the matter. And this is why you keep on repeating, to me it was, but my wife says she could see the slow motion. If you could have made the right combination, to you would have been a second. When you come out of it, when the system hit the ceiling and the time had to convert, your children could have been hundreds of years old. Time dimension does not exist in the universal balance. And now you have opened the door and people can try. Just be careful, very, very careful. I showed this initially in the Sansana 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where we could see the traces of the fields created by the gases in the 4 reactors, kilometers down in the sky clouds and the information of the clouds. Because I see through, many of you have started this process. If your intention is in there to show, it will show. The spacecrafts will be kilometers wide. It's you who has to be the passenger to be part of it. The change of the technology is very rapid. The whole understanding is the simplicity of it. And this is what a lot of governments have been shaking and shivering for. In a coming time, now that you have achieved this and you start doing it, we will start seeing the creation and the channels of communication with the universal community. Man is maturing very fast. We have asked for a direct line of contact and opening of the universal community, and has been granted. Our only request from the governments is, do not shoot. Do not take action. Do not take any position to defend. The missions are peaceful, but if need be, man will lose life in one state to another, as we do not stand for destruction. Our message to the world leaders is very simple. You do not capture us. We have come and we delivered the technologies and the hand of friendship. The message, very, very, very simple. We said once one breaks through, we go to the next step, because the maturity will pass on to the others. In a coming time, in a very short time, a large number of what you call UFOs or whatever we call spaceships will be made by man, and by creating these fields the way the ball has gone through the wall, you will see there is no walls on this planet, and you are amongst the universal community. It was explained by Douglas that he could see a light from the top like a pencil going in. If you do it the right way, the light will pencil out and opens the atmospheric condition of this planet into universal community, and you will see you've been sitting in a self-enclosed show. As I said, we have granted the opening of the universal community to human race. And now from today you will see. My advice goes to those who think they have captured. We never get captured. We are here to deliver and open the option. You got to understand how you add materials inside out and how you add material inside in. You understand, I do a lot of works on the 0 time to begin with, which is 9 to 0. Today is 2972016. End of one and the beginning of the other. Try to develop the technology where, wherever you stand in this structure on the table, which you see in the drawing, you decide if you want it to be the food, you want it to be the light, you want it to be the matter. You decide from now on what you need with this system you have, by positioning yourself accordingly. In your crafts you build, this is what happens. When you're hungry or you're having a need of energy, you go to the specific point in the craft. This is where the energy at the level of human amino acid will be there. You want a light, you create a condition that will be all. You want a darkness in spaces where you want to be in dark, it will be created. You want to have food in the shape of banana, and everything else will be done. It is very simple. When I asked Douglas to join the Keshe Foundation Innovation Center. We know the soul of the man, not the physicality. But we knew this will come. It's the same with the others around the Keshe Foundation. And now it's our job. As I said, we entered the world of politics in July. I gave a couple of hints, and you're all in it. Because in a way, with building this system, we have finished with nationhood. We become one planet. Because where is that ball going to land next time? Washington, Tehran, Beijing. Now the knowledge belongs to you. Hundreds of thousands of you who've seen this, replicate it, understand the control between the acidic and alkaline, gravitational and magnetical, energy, sugar and salt. Then you understand we have started the process of the unification of man with the universal community. The Universal Council will meet in its initial state next week, and we set up the first steps for contact. Those who've been accepted as members of the Universal Council will understand. For the first time, we call the members of the core team to join. And that'll be the first time, and most probably the last time, to rejoin the two. That's why no member of the core team can be a member of the council. The core team is what you call the CH. And the Universal Council is the alkaline. You receive till you mature to become the givers. Any question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, Douglas.
I wondered if you could just say that last sentence again, Mr. Keshe, that the universal, the universe becomes the universal, or was it the universal becomes the universe? Thank you.
Either way you like to do it.
Okay, kind of broke up there.
The thing is, the Universal Council will meet, as I said, in the coming days. It's been requested this morning. And with it, we meet with the members of the core team. And we establish the first lines of contact with the humanity and the universal community. By that time, hopefully, a number of you will be able to achieve the production of the systems. You will see the light, you understand the conversion, you understand all the possibilities. But there is one thing to remember, very important. Do not forget any of the teachings from day one, because the way you came from the matter to the state of the plasma and the unified field, you need to go from the unified field of the plasma back to matter. That's why we taught this way, that you understand from your point of view where you come and what you can go back to. Every teaching in respect to the energy, agriculture, medicine, and everything else has to be understood, because in the space, if you convert yourself into a matter state of the region or a destination point, and on that planet or in that space in the universe, they eat rocks of gold as food, you're trying to create wheat and bread which don't grow, will starve you to death. That's the time when you will convert back to the universal energy. And that's why we taught this way. Try to understand how you convert matter to energy, and how you convert energy to matter. One is a taker, a stable condition, and one is giver. How you convert acidic into alkaline, and alkaline into gans, and the gans into matter state, and you make the body of the man. You do it every second in millions of times in your body. Now you have to understand the process. If you are going from one to the other, are you giving more so you become more alkaline, or you're giving in a way by taking that it keeps you in a state of alkaline, or you're a total giver that you want to end up in a state of matter that you become acidic, or what we call magnetic. I taught this yesterday, and the first unit has been made very simply. Renan, are you in the background by any chance?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Renan, can you share with us the one you made with the two alkaline and acidic in the center yesterday? And
The
the
balls?
measurement of the floor? No, it's the tube. It was like an ample.
Okay, sir. For a while, the cylinders, the one that
The
I
cylinders.
created with the
Yes.
millivolts, the one I showed you. Okay, sir. For a while,
Yes,
I'll
please.
get the picture.
Thank you very much. So you understand this is not accidental. I set up the teaching this way with a specific group. I enjoy working with a Philippine group and Douglas, and I share knowledge with them freely, and they always keep the secrecy till we decide. There is a lot of development in the background with them, and we talk and share very openly. I enjoy working with Verdi because he has understanding of the soul of the man. And I teach, and the reason you see these things coming out of innovation is not just accidental. There is a lot of work goes in the background. We talk frequently, we meet, we discuss, and slowly elevate the condition. So in a way, the Innovation Center is the arm of the development of the knowledge which I carry. Would you like to share with us? Have you found it?
Not yet, sir. I think it's in the phone. I'll check my phone.
Okay, thank you very much. So what we've done in this structure, we have created a vertical condition like the human body, which is very much, Renan will show you, we went out to create a condition where we have put alkalines on two sides and we created acidic in the center. Energy transfer. This is very much, if you look, very, very simple. It's another version of your stomach, where this is your intestine going through, and these are your rest of your body. If you look in the pores you build, again is the same. This very, very little acidic can create a mayhem for alkalineness and vice versa. I started working about 3:30 this morning to be able to bring this on, but now you understand, it's nearly 11, 12 o'clock, 12:30. I already worked nearly 23, 24 hours a day, more or less at the moment. But
I got the picture, sir.
the knowledge has to be completed. Can you share with us? You go under your share screen.
Okay, sir. I'll share screen. So it's just the guns that are different here. Some of us have tried this before, but this is the way, the one where we knew the ganses have its roles. So can you see my mouse?
Yes.
I'll just describe. Okay, sir. So this area here and this area here are both, I think in this setup, this is more acidic because this is the composite guns. And the center is the CH3 guns alone. And in between them, there's just, we just put a nano-coated copper spiral and a baking paper divider with using sand in baking paper with sand in the middle, and we just solidify it just to create a transfer of fields, and we can tap the certain portion of the field. And what is just amazing is that even we stay this for several hours already, it is a stable system wherein there's continuous fields from the ends going to the center. So we pick some, it's still millivolts, but this is the principle here is that there are portions that is continuous transfer of fields from this side going to the center. So if we change this to the other side, maybe there will be another portion that will uh, an opposite field, opposite direction from center going out. So if different guns will be introduced as well. So this setup here below is similar to this, but we use patches, just plastic patches, and we open in between them. We still use our middle electrolyte system, which is we use the sand and the baking paper just to be in between them so they can interact, and so it just has a continuous flow of voltage, and it has also amperage as well, so in still in milli, but in this aspect it's amazing that it is stable, so it's not erratic until now. When if I still test it right now, it still has its um, millivolts. At then I retested it again. I just charged it, so by putting 12 volts on these two nodes, so it holds electric charge. So then it drops to a certain level of voltage, but it can hold up to 1 volt for for about an hour of charging, and then goes down. So, but that's not the point here. But the point here is there's a continuous flow of fields that keeps on moving even without any external factor that is being produced, that is being applied to it. So there is a the thing that we want to see here, if when there's a movement in this area, if these guns are continuously moving, but when we look at it, there is the guns are still on the bottom, and the water is still. I think the action is doing here in the intersection where the coil was going in. So we cannot see yet the movement in this area. So that's the one thing that we're looking into. Then Douglas made this into a ball setup. That's why he rotated the ball and find that experience today. So we want to see if having the different acid base, and then the other thing that we're looking into is using the dried guns dried guns and mix it back to in a liquid state. So that's another one that we are testing here. So different dried ganses and put with the liquid guns or the wet guns and with sugar. If we can create more basic more basic guns and add some acidic guns.
I think, let me explain this because we haven't taught this in public. You know it in the private teachings.
Yes.
Okay, because Renan is referring to something which is not known in public, so I explained to them that I have to teach this, but I explained to them, and Douglas found a reference in the books. So what we're going to teach, you will see, you understand a very big difference in the teaching, or adding to the knowledge of the teaching. Up to now, what you have seen. Can I have my screen, please? If you got anything else, you can share with us later on, please. It's okay. Thanks very much, Bernie.
Yes,
thank you. What has happened up to now, you have seen only liquid plasma, which is the water state of the gas. But if you go to the book, if you go back to the original book, I don't have the books with me, if you got it in front of you, you can tell me the page. In all my work, I now work only with the liquid plasma. I started with the GANs. If I mix the GANs with the water liquid, I have a freedom in a different shape. If you look at the book, the picture is on the plastic. It looks like a gel. I work with a gel of a GANS. Gel of a GANS has a lot of properties. You up to now been using one type of GANS, which is a liquid plasma. The GANS gel, which is you add some salt to it if you want to become magnetical or gravitational, or you add sugar to it, that it makes it magnetical. And then when it's very much what I taught you in respect to putting the GANs into the papers. When you add the GANs to the paper and you wrap it for your coils or your capacitors. If you let it go in the gel and then add any sugar or salt to it, which allows the availability of the hydrogen to be given, if you're using sugar, it becomes a giver, it becomes magnetical. And the salt, because of the presence of oxygen, becomes in attracting oxygen to itself, and in the presence of other materials in the combination of the GANs, becomes gravitational, and then as it receives more, it gives, and the capacitor become a generator. So you can use a gel condition. You can go further and dry the GANs. If you have the book, you see the powder which I show. And this dry GANs has different properties again and application in a space technology. It has a huge application. So up to now you were playing with a liquid GANs and a solid state of the matter. With the GANs you do the same. You can play with the liquid plasma, you can play with the gel of the plasma, you can play with dry plasma. And you will see totally new directions. Those of you who get the dry powder and mix it with the water, you will find different properties than actually when you play with the liquid GANs. Those of you who play with the gel and then you mix the gel with the water, you will find out totally different properties. So, as I said, I can teach you for the rest of your lives and you still haven't learned 1% of what totality of the universal creation is. But if you understand the way you play with the gas, with the GANs, and with the liquid and solid, if you understand this in the dimension of the GANs, now you can play the same game. But in this state, there is no interaction of the heat or pressure. The field is constant. It gives you a feasibility of having interactions in different dimensions. If you mix them, then you'll have different things. If you mix nano material in the gel, or if you mix the nano material in the dry gas, or add the dry gas to the liquid gas, totally different properties. This is a new teaching, and a lot of you, it's a new teaching, and a lot of you needs to learn. You played with the water, ice, and vapor. Now, there, heat had a say. Here, if you understand very rapidly, you will understand in this game, field strength plays a huge game. You give or you take. And then you can play new games, new toys, new ways of playing with the universal energy. It's when you become in the state of the dry state of the GANs, if you understand how to do it properly, sometimes you can enter the matter state. This is where the nanoatomic nitrogen on the upper layers, in conjunction with the moisture of the water, leads to creation of matter state nitrogen. How you absorb energy from the GANs on the planet Earth that's the oxygen interaction, you convert the gas into a matter. And this is why we get hydrogen when it rains, or when there is a moisture. That is why the lowest moisture on this planet is 15%, because the moisture itself, as part of the float of the energy, needs to add the material to the environment. It's the conversion. It's the oxygen, which is a converter connector, and with it converts, in this atmospheric condition, gas state of the matter in dry into the gas state matter, into the matter state itself, and we feel it tangibility. This is why in our body we eat the food, we convert it into energy and then into its gas, and then we can hold the hand of the man as a matter state. You create muscles and tissues. Now you can see how in the universe you convert the energies into the gases, into the powers, and then into matter. As I said, you can have as much gold as you like, and you can have as much meat as you like. You can become Italians in America. They could never have meat in Italy, but when they found themselves in a continent full of buffaloes, they added meat to their spaghetti, that they still had a sign of the connection to the point of reference of their coming, where it was the spaghetti land, but now they call it bolognese. But if you ask in Bologna from anyone, can I have a spaghetti bolognese, they laugh at you. We say we never add. Spaghetti bolognese doesn't exist. It's the invention of the Italians who went to America, because they never had meat here, but there the meat was free, so they added it to their food. It's the same when you go into space. You add the material from where you came in a combination of where you are, then is your emotion with the direction of the strength of the environment you arrive in decides if this physicality is going to be a spaghetti with bolognese meat or not, but you still call it bolognese. And then what happens? You decide to have 8 arms and 2 legs, or 20 legs and no arms, because you need a fast runner. So now, even today, you learn a new state of matter of the condition of the gas in the state. Go back to the book, is in the book. The pictures are there. Could you give us the page, because you found it straight away yesterday or the day before? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
I see Stanley put it in the chat here, I believe.
Book number 2.
Yes.
Page
Yes.
92, it says.
CO2.
Where you see the dry gas, CO2 dry gas. This is published as part of the paper about the development of the gas. The pictures are in there, you see the power. If you look at the pictures, you see different layers of the gas. They don't mix because of their strength difference. One of the reasons why when you put the gas in the water and you shake it and it takes time to go down is a lot of that is because in space you can use this property. What you have, you create a gas, and these, let's say, copper oxide gases are all gapped and distanced. But you are in the water, in the gas, liquid water, and your water is there, and you see the water increases more as the gas goes to the bottom. What happens, why you have this, that you keep on getting water coming out, because now every one of these gases have to move to one or another to allow the molecules of the water slowly to get to find their way to the top. And as they come down, this positioning comes back, and then it allows the packing. So you can use the GANS materials as a filter. Combination of GANS materials. Is you who adds or takes, or can put a gel GANS in here, or you can put a dry GANS here. You connect it, you decide if you want to take from the urine of the man iron, or you want to take some. You can, people who understood this, when I stop is because I see it says weak internet connection, so I don't carry on teaching till it comes back.
It was just starting to break up there. Thank you, Mr.
So what you did this, I see there is a problem here, and people are trying to load up on the line. So what you see is the property which you have. And that's what you see when you mix the water of the GANS with the GANS. You mix water with the GANS and then you let it settle. As the water passes through, it absorbs the energy of the GANS. So that's why this water you can drink and have all the property. Because it's become the atomic matter state of the water by going through the GANSes has changed and take the strength and properties of the matter state. And that's why as it's filtering through, it finds the property of the elements which are in the center of this with the matter state. Now you understand why your gas water has the property of the matter you are. But if you understood further, and even Douglas mentioned it once, and we've seen it yesterday in the talk or the day before, I said, you see bubbles in your structure in the middle of the water. These bubbles are pure plasma conditions, which is created from the interaction of all the fields, and all their principal energy becomes a bubble, and that's why you have a center. If you put your gas material, your glass, and put it on a rotating table, and then let it do, you'll find the energy in this water is totally different than when you do it normal. It's more concentrated, has more strength, because now all the energies of the free plasma is added to this as well. So it covers more spectrum of the energies which is needed. So you understand, slowly, slowly we come to it. I've seen Douglas is one of the first one who has started doing this. I've seen, I don't know if the others have done or not, is when he makes the capacitors from the liquid capacitor, he adds nano copper or nano something else into it, because now the nano material in the gas water of the capacitor becomes the behavior of the denser energy and a more powerful capacitance. That's why the capacitors made by Douglas are totally different than the others, because he has understood it and he does it automatically. We see these kind of things a lot with the members of the Keshe Foundation Innovation Center. They have understood and they do it automatically, but none of you have ever touched that. Now you store the copper nano. If it's copper nano dust, the outside is nano coated. The inside is still in the matter state, even doesn't matter if it's a dust. So it stores a lot of energy, and when you need it in the matter state, it releases it. This is one of the beauties of working with geniuses of plasma, because they do it naturally. No, so the whole understanding is in these conditions, every structure has its own application. What you add? You add the GANs, you add nano-coated particles, you add particles which are nano-coated. Each one will have its own property. We knew this years ago when we did tests in Belgium with a scientist in University of Kent in electrical engineering department. It was very, very obvious. Without them knowing, I added materials and I could see how one system performs slightly than the other. One of the people who understood the operation of transfer of energy in this level is the, I don't know if he's now become the head of the electrical engineering department of the Ghent University, but he was the deputy head. He understood it very quickly and he made for himself heating system in his house. And he said, it works. I said, yes, but don't tell anyone, they kill you. And this is how the process is. This is how, when you use patches, you receive different kind of energy. Depends if you add sugar or you add salt or you add a grain of copper into the, what do you call it, your patches. As you've seen Brennan explained. Because now you add capacitance, you add storage in the matter state. Now you understand we are moving, even in our new generation of the generators to be released, we should have hardly any matter state. We can produce megawatts of energy by understanding the transfer between different states of the matter. If you put nano-coated copper oxide in the center here and outside here, and now you put sugar in here with your CH3 and in here, God help you, what you're going to get. Because as you saw with the system of Brennan, we're tapping into the centers. You made another one and you see how it goes. That's what you see with the system which Brennan is showing you. He is tapping into energies. The papers, the aluminium, everything else is a filtering. You change these papers and aluminiums or copper, you will get different kind of energy out. This I taught to the innovation team about a week, 10 days ago, and we see the rapid development and new achievement, because in the innovation center you work with the people who understand the totality. And when you nourish it, it's like a child. You bring a child from childhood to a genius. And these people are becoming part of it because they understand the close community of 6-7. They analyze in the same direction, and that's what we're getting to get. The Innovation Center group will bring new technologies very rapidly, and that's what we said. If you understood this, that how you change everything from alkaline to acidity, if you look within 2 days time, maybe by Monday, the Keshe Foundation has put a new product in the market. We are marketing what we call the jugs. You can buy a jug from the foundation, which is designed to convert any acidic water to alkaline with any residual. Understanding this process, it goes on the market. It's already been done. The photo shot is getting complete today, I think. Now you understand, as I said, huge number of products will come. Next week or the week after, we release the agriculture unit. The week after, most probably before end of August, we release the first agricultural unit, where if you're a farmer, you can do 1,000 to 2,000 liters per second into the system that it comes. This first order has been getting completed. It's about 50,000 euro. If you're a farmer, you don't need no pesticide, you don't need no anything at all, but at a high rate, you can change the farming. We do the same thing now in the condition we are creating for pollution of the environment in the cities, where instead of running the water, we run the plasma field, that the extension of the pollution in interaction will leave residual inside. These units are built to go in places like Tehran, and you don't create winds anymore. you create magnetic fields, and you collect all the residual material. So now you understand. You can change from any of these. You can put a GANS, liquid GANS. You can put a gel, or you can put the dry. Or you can put all three, where with the GANS you mix matter state, nano state in the other one, and you can put the GANS of the other with it. Now you see the game changes. We said we release products. Now we release products because we work in the dimension you have to understand, and there is no magic to it. So when you drink water, which is now getting delivered, you can place your order from Monday at 8.6 pH constantly, does not matter what, the rate of the cancer goes very rapidly towards zero. Because the energy in your stomach is not that much conversion from acidic to alkaline. It's a normal transfer. No high level of energy is left. That in this area, you end up with matter state. If you understood this setting and you understood the gap in between, now you know where to create your matter states. While it's going from one to the other. Higher order materials are created when CH is giving. Lower order materials given transfer to you the knowledge of creation. It is you who have to understand the knowledge and apply it. If you understand, we are transferring a knowledge of the universe that within the coming days and weeks, when you see more of what you call a spaceship, which is part is made by man and part made by the man of universe, we stand equal, shoulder to shoulder. We don't send you into the city on the back of a donkey. We send you to the city on the same cause at the very simple. It cannot be stopped. This cannot be stopped. The progress is rapid. In the coming days, we will see flying balls, systems, and everything else. And in time, we answer to those who became to be the stealers of the souls. Because you are not aware of it, but I know how to bring souls to speak. And then we see what they've done. As we speak, there is one going on the internet, on the lines of international condition. Those who tried with their thoughts, they could override the work of the foundation. We give them an option. You come and speak, or we leave it, will be spoken for you. Does not matter how you try to turn it. Any questions?
We have a question from Vic Tanif. It says, I have AuO2, golden oxide. Wouldn't that provide better and quicker M fields?
Depends. Always learn one thing. Your M fields is depends where you
I think you might have to say,
plasmatic. Hello?
if we could get that last sentence again, Mr. Keshe, that would be good, because the bandwidth broke up there.
Yes, it depends what your M fields are going to be, your magnetical fields. You always give from the weakest to the strong in gravitation. You understand? You release as magnetical, but it becomes gravitational to the strength of the strongest. If you look at the Earth, you start with the strong field coming out, but as its strength reduces, it becomes the source of the field of the gravitation. So when you have gold, if you have, let's say, zinc, it's gravitational, it's not magnetical to it. But if you have the vice versa, plutonium, then the game changes. Depends which way you're looking at, where you're sitting on the atomic gravitational mass, or background of it, which is the magnetical part of it. You also find the magnetical, but you've got to see where this magnetical becomes gravitational, which part. So what is what you call magnetical to one state below can be gravitational one state above. It's the way you set up your structure. Look, the reason we choose very much, like in the center, we put very heavy materials. In the outside, we put CH3. CH3 receives huge amount of fields because it's weaker from the center. But in receiving it, it has not got the capability to hold on, so it gives more to what is next to it. So it concentrates the field, and then because it's part of the same structure, don't forget, like you put the copper CO2 inside, now the connection tells it where it's going to go. A lot of the mixtures, when you mix, write it down. Write CO2, write copper oxide, write CH3. And then see why you are connecting. This is the connection. You build connections, but at the same time the stronger is giving, but you have taken a field. Remember, in the plasma technology, a strong always feeds the weak, but it's the weak which is the food of the strong. Makes it, because it brings it together to rise, so what it doesn't need, which is very limited, goes back in a stronger field to the strong. And then that's how you build it up. That's why you saw what Douglas says. He saw the field, the line. He tells you he has a CH3. He has added an alkaline. You got to look what's in that alkaline. A heavy amount of CO2, zinc oxide, copper oxide. But he tells you in the center, he has put already all the O's. So he has created the line of contact. And he has the line of communication in gravitational magnetic field, which we say carbon is the line of the transfer of energy. That's where you see the light. If you hold that light long enough and you can freeze it, you'll have diamond, because that line is the line of communication, which is a carbon line strength. Any other question?
There seems to be some confusion in the chat about the division or difference of the magnetic and gravitational. One person, Stefan, says gravitational feels the magnetic, I think. And
No, what is a magnetical of one becomes the gravitation of the strong one. This is what we always thought.
So, Mr. Keshe, it depends on one's perspective or position, I suppose, as to what.
From yes, you're correct, but from the magnetic gravitational strength point of, you understand, not where you stand as a matter state, as you watching.
From the field's point of view, I guess.
Exactly, plasmatic field. Yeah. A lot of you who listen to the teaching today will come up with a different state of mind and thinking, but a lot of you who don't understand, you stick to the old because that's you feel comfortable. There is nothing wrong with it. Those who want to go to the next point will walk very rapid from now on. Mix the gases, the matter state, the nano state, the dry state, the gel state, and the gases and everything else. And then you come up with a new mixture, new strength, new storage. Some of you in a coming week, you will see is huge size, megawatts, the size of pencil. Depends how much you want to convert into matter, or if you put in the matter to be converted. Start understanding the process. Don't do monkey see, monkey does. This has to stop. Now you all have enough. You're intelligent enough to dictate it from now on. From now on, it's you who decides how to play. And no one can tell you you're wrong, because I was saying this to somebody very recently. I have made millions of professors in plasma in one go, and you're all professors. Because the man-matter professors are lost in the science of plasma. Not that they're wrong, they understood only matter state, not the plasma state, which is the non-dimensional, non-tangible. And this is where it is. It'll be very hard for matter state professors to accept your knowledge as the professors of the plasma. Be it you call the housewife, a man in Africa, a professor sitting in the advisor to the president of China, and the rest. All of you have been trained to the level through the true knowledge of the universe. Those who want to be in the matter state, there is nothing wrong with them, because when you arrive to the position of the matter state, you become one of them. So there is no use to be arrogant to start where you're going to end up yourself. The process is very easy. If you all don't become professors of the space, in the space you need somebody to professors for you, and then they can abuse you. If you understand the totality, you cannot be abused in the space. And that's my job. That's why I teach this way, that you all understand and there is no gap for abuse. One of the conditions made with the Universal Council is that none of the sciences of the space will be given to man to abuse man himself and the others, but the man will be told not to become the abuser of himself. Any other question? Douglas, is the glue dried?
Mr. Keshe, I actually just put one more coat on it just about 5 minutes ago while you were drawing pictures there.
How long are we going to wait till your coat dries this time?
Well, this is the third coat I've put on this. These, like I said, I've had to cut these with a knife, so I've not been very successful.
But you got at home 3 daughters, and they all have one hair dryer each. It should not be that hard to dry, does it?
Well, you wouldn't think so.
Maybe you could use fingernail polish.
I think it's something to do with the alkalinity in the glue. Everything I've tried.
Rick gave you the answer. He knows. He used to do work with these things. You got the answer.
Well, I was kidding about fingernail polish, and you could use the hair dryer to dry
Yeah.
it.
In a way, it does. You can do it. Sometimes works very good.
There are different glues that work well, but it is very similar to what Douglas says in terms of the best glues take a couple of days to set up properly and really pull together and be very solid. If it's okay if you're doing low speed experiments under around 1,000 RPM or so, and you can use glues that don't necessarily are that strong. But once you get up into 3, 4, and especially up in the 7, 8, or 9, or 10,000 RPM, then a little bit of vibration in the ping pong ball might tend to make it peel off or break or something like that.
So, Douglas, you're inviting us for lunch for Sunday, or are we inviting you for lunch for Sunday?
We should have.
It's a couple of days to dry, as Rick says.
Yeah. I'm gonna let them dry thoroughly, and like I said, I've got some proper 2-piece balls like Armin had the other day ordered, and they're on special order. They should be here in a day or two, but I'm gonna make these work in the time being. And Rick's right. That's what I've experienced. At lower RPMs, they'll hold together, but when you get up to the higher RPMs, the glue just won't. It breaks the bond.
No problem. We waited, Douglas. We waited millions of years. A couple of days won't do any harm.
Right. Let's not rush it too much. You put a hole in your.
There are PVC glue they are selling in Home Depot. You can buy it from, and it's very good holding.
Good morning, Master Armand. Where are you today? Are you still in Arizona?
Yeah, going back tomorrow.
How is the factory coming up?
Very good. Everybody here, so they understand.
Thank you very much for your work there, Armand.
You're welcome, Mr. Keshe.
Any other questions?
There is a question here from Rene, who says, what if I put my blood in all sorts of ganses that I use in my experiments, or must it be only in the
Can you repeat that again, please? I lost it.
Rene says, what if I put my blood in all sorts of ganses that I use in my experiments, or must it be only in the center? Thanks, from Austria.
Where would you like to be, in every state, or would you like to be all together and then bring everything to one state? Don't forget, the soul of the man and the physicality of the man evolves to the strength of the environment it manifests itself in. That's why we keep everything in one position. Any other question, or shall we call it a day? We come together maybe Monday, Tuesday, and we'll see who's flying. I said before, we come on every day, and needs be every hour back again the minute there is a development. We get to know that it's positive and it's correct to share. We'll come up with it and we'll deliver it.
Mr. Keshe, can you give a quick answer for Nick M., who asked in the chat, how do I connect with my space reactor? Just by allowing an intention, or is there more to it?
You got to have the key to it, which is your own soul or your energy, and the rest is just a history.
The rest is improvised,
Because you decide how to look. You don't need the guns, you don't need the balls. You can go within the structure of the soul of yourself and create every matter. It's your soul who decides more or less what's going to be the organ of the cell of a lung, or a cell of a blood, or a cell of the heart. This is something none of you have ever understood. If your soul is creator of your manifestation of physicality, so it's soul who decides what's the bone and what is the liquid and what's the rest needs to be, and then it's done according to his wish, because that's the only way it can exist. So If that can be done, then decide. Somebody's microphone is open. How come some of you...
Sorry, I just opened the microphone. I've just got a fresh video from Zoltan Sabo, who replicated the same experiment which is shown yesterday. That was creating the turbulences, the vortex into the mixture of gases.
You don't want to stop. You want to show this, huh? At any cost. Doesn't matter. We put you somewhere else. Show it, no problem. Then let people replicate it. Let me tell you, this is from Mr. Sultan Sandor from Romania. He is what he says he is. He is a priest. And as you said, with this work, we have brought the world leaders and the religions all on the table. They're all at it because they want to find a passage for salvage of their soul and their physicality. So Mr. Sultan has done a test with a Maghreb setup. It shows a very, very interesting pattern. What will be interesting is that if it can be shown and repeated by the others, is Mr. Sultan online? Let him speak, and then you can repeat and then make a decision on it. Is he on the line or he's not on the line?
He's online.
Can you...
In the viewers next to the last with letter Z by the alphabet.
Can you see Rick where he is?
Yep, I just promoted him to panelist, so he should be able to...
You got to understand, Sandor has been bashing every door to show this for past few days. And I said, send it to Rick, and we show it. This is, you got to realize something. Every time we get a platform to some people to show some things, and then when they did it, and they claimed they're God and the creator, and everything is wrong with the Keshe Foundation. So we don't give much platform to the others, just in case not to put their souls in wrong position. We are doing you a favor, not holding you back. But at the same time, we allow you to teach in other places in different sizes and dimensions. We've seen this mishaps with 3 or 4 people. We gave platform now, they've gone out to destroy the Keshe Foundation with plastics which create fire in the houses. And they call themselves all sorts of things. So we are very careful in who we allow to show what, because you have a huge platform on the internet, you can show things you do. We support you to do it, we want you to do it. But the people who come here, then they call them the teachers and professors of the Keshe Foundation because they've been here or 2 or 3 times in the foundation. We are becoming aware of the man's weakness, and we don't want you to create, to damage your soul because of us giving you the freedom of the run. Okay, let him come on and show and explain to us. He's a priest, and let's see what God says. Mr. Sultan.
So who's going to present it? Will Zoltan present the video or?
Is his...
I can share the screen. I downloaded it here, so I can handle it here. I have a bigger bandwidth than he has.
Can he join us to explain to us what is done?
Zoltán, légy szíves, kapcsold be a mikrofont, és légy szíves, mondd el, hogy mit csináltál, közben bemutatom a videót. I asked him to
is he fluent English speaker? Because I think he is from his writing.
He knows to write and read English, but he's not good in speaking and listening.
So you become the voice of the man, I presume.
Yes,
hello. We can hear you in the background.
Does he have to start his video, or does he wish to? I can...
Or shall we look at the video first and then let him explain, then we understand.
Good.
Would you like to share the video, please?
So here's the video just without sound.
Yeah.
So we made the same setup as it was previously, according to your advice. Just he didn't move the second magrev near to it, but he put a nano-coated coil in proximity of this mixture of gases. The other magrev, which is functional, this is what he put here. It's just a non-functional under construction set of coils near. This is just next to the box, and to the other side there is a maglev unit which is operational. It is at 3 meters distance. It took some hours to start this formation. It didn't start immediately.
But this leads to 2 of them. We'll see later on as I've seen the pictures.
You can speed it up eventually.
If you can speed it up.
I double the speed.
Why does it change? This changes the way, the pattern of the fields and the interaction of the other. You just got to watch this. There is a lot of question mark about this presentation. That's why we would like you to repeat it.
So
you
this
can
is the
see,
repeated one.
yeah, stop, go back 1 second, go back. This is a very interesting development. Just go back on the capacitors, on the coils you were just showing. Just go back a few frames, stop there. You see here, this is, some people do this with using this capacitor addition into the system on the top. Non-touching capacitors. Number of people have started using this. This has a lot of advantages in concentration of the energy, if you especially put it upright, not in an angle. The position of the field changes. Carry on, please.
Oh, sorry. So here we see such a second die forming, but it's not yet developed. So probably a time-lapse video would be very useful for following such experiments which take...
No, it's very nice. Let's have a look at it. The end picture is amazing, but it's for you to transfer. Then you see the existence of 2 souls in one container.
So this
When
is
I looked at this, yeah, carry on. When you look at the end product, in a way, it's what I call the state of the physicality of the soul of the, what I call beautiful people. 1 entity, 2 souls. You watch it, it's very, very interesting. But you got to replicate it. And then we'll see. And you can show, the prelude to this one was the video we showed earlier on this week with the green box where the gans moves from one to another in respect to gans of the body of the man. But here is the static condition of the fields. But it's got to be done, it's got to be repeated. We've got to find out what's on the base of this liquid and how he made his gases. Why are you playing with this so much? Let it go.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
I'm sorry for...
Now it's all black and white now. You took the color out.
I take off the effect.
You see, Sandor, you play with everything too much. There we are. That's perfect. Thank you. Let it play, please.
So from the beginning.
No, where we are. We're going to be here.
This is the end frame.
Where is the picture with 2 circles? There is a picture with 2 circles with a line in between.
Yesterday's.
Can we see that one? I think that's the same thing progressing. You see it getting developed on the right hand side.
Yeah, I'm going to open that, sorry. I'm going to find that.
We see your thingy, huh? You're on the open desktop.
So I stop share, I found it. I find it, just a second. Let me navigate that. So on that folder. Okay, I found. And here we are. So these were from 2 days ago. So this also is two spirals. And here he found that the vinyl cover shows a voltage.
Pardon?
On the table where he works, he found out that if he puts this live detector, just a simple live detector, and it shows the red light here when he touches the vinyl cover of the desk. The desk otherwise is made of wood.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first instance that he noticed.
Would you like to bring him on that he can explain to us?
Yes, he's online.
Who's becoming the translator of who?
I can translate. Zoltán, tolmácsolni szeretnék, hogyha beszélnél.
Kérdés, hogy mi?
So he can talk. What is the question?
Explain, please. Explain to us what's in the base, in the mixture.
Zoltán, magyarázd el nekünk, hogy mi van a keverékben.
Tehát van benne néhány csepp olom.
There are a few drops of lead gas.
De tulajdonképpen ebbe az egész dobozba ez csak maradék.
This is just the leftovers of this gun soup.
Mert ebbe mostam le az ecsetet.
So this is the box which he used to wash down his brush, which he used to cover the maglev coils with the soup.
Igen, amivel bekentem ugye a ügyeket, de már lefordítottam, jó. Nem tettem hozzá azóta semmit, és nem vettem el belőle. Annyit, hogy azt, amit mutattam a múltkor, azt a 8-ast, kivettem a dobozból, és betettem alá, a doboz alá. A videón látszik.
The only thing which he did different from the last time is that he took out that coil, which he has shown yesterday, and he put it, that figure 8, he took it out of the mixture, he put it below the box. Azt kérdezték, hogy mi a keverék.
Yeah, but can I ask, you said something.
Keverék.
Can I, no, stop, sir, please.
Okay.
Underneath this box, there's a 8-figure loop, infinity loop.
Hát a doboz alatt most másodszorra ott volt ez a végtelen forma, ez a 8-as.
Ott van most is.
Yes, it's here.
Where?
Felemeltem a dobozt.
He has lifted the box and he put it below.
Alá.
What is it? Is it infinity nano-coated material?
Igen, yes.
So,
he's trying to show his camera why I don't see that. I have to stop my share.
yeah. What is interesting is this field created by the magraves, or is this field created by the infinite loop underneath?
A nagy kérdés, hogy a magravok hozták ezt létre, vagy az a 8-as forma, ami alatta volt?
Hát csinálok majd olyan videót, ami nincs alatta ez a 8-as.
He'll make a second video where he will move away that infinity loop.
Félreveszem
Yeah, but the shape is formed because of that, partially being part of it.
Nem értettem.
We didn't understood well.
No, the loop which now we see created on this platform is partially or mainly due to the nano-coated infinity loop down underneath behind under the box.
Az a kérdés, hogy hogy ezt az alakzatot részben vagy egészben a doboz alatt levő dupla 8-as hurok csinálja-e, vagy nem. A mérete az kisebb vagy nagyobb ezeknél a örvényeknél?
Hát kisebb.
The size of the loops is smaller than these vortexes.
Megmutathatom.
He can show it. Mutasd meg!
Yes, let's have a look because that does, yeah, I understand.
It's a tiny bit and the box is about 25 centimeters long.
Yeah, but what happens if you put this loop away?
Mi történik, ha ezt a hurkot félreteszed?
Na most kivettem.
Now he took it out. And he will watch.
Shake the box back to normality. Stir up everything and let it settle and take pictures again and let's watch it in the future.
Keverd meg a doboz tartalmát, hogy egy ilyen eredeti összerendezetlen állapotba kerüljön, hagyd, hogy megállapodjon, és akkor fényképezd le, hogy hogyan alakult ki.
Jó, okay.
So he will stir it up and let it to settle again without that loop inside.
Thank you very much. Can I ask him a question? My question is, what brings a man of rope to the physics of the plasma?
Man of law?
Man of rope.
Rope.
A priest, yeah.
He's not a Catholic, he's a Calvinist, reformer. It's different, he's a pastor. Az a kérdés, hogy mi hozza a...
Doesn't matter what name you put on it. He's where he is, yeah?
Yes. Tehát az a kérdés, hogy mi hoz egy lelkészt a plazmatudomány közelébe?
A kutatás.
It's the research.
Is that what he always does? Or is he trying to find a path of God through plasma?
Szóval ez az, amit mindig csinálsz, hogy kutatod az igazságot, vagy pedig akarsz egy kiutat Istentől a plazma, vagy egy utat Istentől a plazmáig.
Minden út Istenhez vezet.
He says all the roads lead to the Creator.
Nagy csend. Különben az ingyen energia, free energy ez érdekel.
Otherwise, he started his interest for the free energy subject. So he was interested in free energy earlier.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for showing to us. Send the other pictures you have, and then we show it, and we see the difference. What has the loop energy do with the what do you call it? With the maglabs in the same position. Thank you very much indeed. There is something, as our priest said to us, there are a number of organizations which are floating around in Northern Europe under the title of the free energy, and they are trying to get access to the Keshe Foundation new generators to start companies, to start doing all sorts of things in the stock exchange. We have exposed 2 in the past 48 hours. Be aware, if you cannot make the generators, the only line at the moment is through Keshe Foundation, which will produce, deliver, and you have to wait till September for it, and then we teach you. We're just developing a more efficient system. Do not invest in any energy or new energy systems, because the only option left is modifying what is now in the market, the small size packages, which we are delivering for the energy system. We've seen people coming in with all sorts of conditions, and selling all sorts of things on the Keshe Foundation name and logo. We will take action. If you are not certified by us, we take action using the logo of the Keshe Foundation. If you are Keshe Foundation of a nation, it has to be on the mandate who you are, what you're using it for. And anyone copies things, we have our own way of doing things. But please understand, we are here to help and to develop together. We are not here for some to benefit it and damaging the others and just to run and go. This is important. You join, you use the technology, stand by the technology, and the way we work with our ethos. Any other question? We've been going on nearly 3 hours now. We came here for half an hour, but at least we added to the knowledge, and I hope very soon we start seeing flying objects as you are. You understood the principle, create the difference. If some of you made coils and cores and you put like sugar on the outer core and then salt on the inner core when your GaNs coatings, you see a more powerful systems. Now you understand why. Any question?
Good morning.
Oh my God. Yes, good morning.
I want to read a question which just appeared in the chat. One of my people in the Turkish group used homemade magra for some months. He says when his hands come near or non-contact live electric dictator, it starts beeping, like showing electric. It was not like this before. What does it mean?
We don't know what it means. Maybe it's him beeping. We got to understand what it is they got to show, then we can explain.
So to pass their
It's good. We are in
information to
Turkey
it?
as well. Good job. We are in Turkey as well. We thought we get more of the Turkish group to join us to show things. They have some good work we've seen in the background. We don't know. We have to see it. We have to see.
It's coming from Ummat Duman.
Yes, we got to see what it is. They got to show us, then we can explain it.
He says he will show it very soon.
Thank you very much. If there's no other question, we finish.
Flint, I've got a message here that Flint would like to make an announcement regarding the afternoon session of the private teaching. Flint, do you want to?
Yeah. I was just going to say that we'll begin the afternoon class here within 1 hour when we end here.
Yes, in 1 hour, then you finish your summer holidays for 6 weeks.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Thank you for your hard work, Flint, in the background. Thank you for everyone on the teaching side.
You're welcome.
We call it a day today. If we see anything that, or if you make anything which we can see, you know the channels we look and we keep observation on. We look heavily on the new knowledge which goes on the golden age of GANs and other channels which they release information, and we support the work. So if you load up on the Keshe Foundation forum, anything new will operate, will look, because now it has to be collectively that a lot of you do everything at the same time. And there are other channels, if you work and show things on the different, what I call universal community groups, we watch, we are there to share knowledge and bring the next step. As I said, maybe before 31st of July, we'll see the first flying sources. If we see it, if the condition of the creation of the light and lift can be shown by anyone, we start the teaching immediately within hours. Thank you very much for joining to us. And in joining with us today, we explained, if you understood the completion of the unifying field theory, you understand it, how and why. You understand there is new ways of creating energy transfer. You understand there is new kind of capacitors and others, but you understand the new states of matter in the condition of the gas. And if you understand all these, you are one step closer to being able to enjoy more beauties of the plasma technology. On the other hand, as we announced today, we have opened the door of Universal Council and Universal Community for the first interactions. My warning goes to the governments: do not fire, do not take what I call passive action for any representation, not the space travelers of the universe who are here to establish the first steps with the whole of the human race. Agree, and we deliver as we have delivered up to now. The race is ready and is getting more and more ready to become part of on equal basis. And as I said, I have fulfilled my mission. The last steps is left to show the soul of the man interaction with the soul of the entity of the universe. Further complication and actually not to arises, we have to finish a lot of teachings in a way that you understand. And don't forget, we stand at the point on both sides. We are not negotiators, we are the messengers. So please understand, my warning goes to the Chinese government, to the American government, and any other nation who has the capability. Any representation in the coming time is representation of the peace. Refrain from any hostile activities. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Indeed.
And that brings to a close the 125th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, titled Disclosure. And once again, thank you everybody for attending. It's Friday, July 29th, 2016. Okay, we'll stop the live stream.